Good morning. Welcome to a cool autumn day in southern Idaho, working on CJs. Today I've got a Jeep that a fellow Jeeper brought in. I think it's a 1980 CJ5. Had some problems with the wiring harness. In the process of the wiring harness, he also said, oh, and by the way, I've got problems with the rear axle. One of the wheels is 4 inches back, the other one is 3 inches back. Anyways, way off. So I brought it in the shop, got it up on the lift, got some very interesting things to show you. I started taking it kind of apart. I took the wheels and tires off so I could check front end, rear end. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff here. So let me show you this. I know there's some debate whether these should go forward or back, the rear shackles. I've always put them with this to the back. It flexes to the back, so that's kind of how I put them. I may be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but that's how I've always put them. They just seem to fit better that way. Also, if you notice the pinion angle on this housing here, you can see that it was really drastic. Actually, when I measured it, it measures about 27 degrees. Everything I've ever looked at says 3 degrees is max. So if you look here, if you can see in here, there's a wedge and a plate, and the wedge is probably either 4 or 5 degrees. And you can see the plate's kind of scooched itself out a little bit right here, kind of scooched forward as well, which indicates to me that it's not on the pin. The spring has a pin in it, which is what's supposed to line up your axle when you clamp it down. And with that much wedge in there, you can see on this side the same way. And if you look over here, oh, this one's way slid out. So yeah, this is probably why this axle is too far forward on this side, too far back on that side. Yeah, that's not quite right. So we're gonna fix that for the customer and get these correct. He doesn't need that much wedge. We're gonna set it at 3 degrees, which is the way it's supposed to be. He's got a real nice drive line in there. I'm hoping we can still use it. I'm afraid it's going to be too long for the application, but we'll also, you can see, has a really nice brand new fuel tank in it. However, if you know how CJs are supposed to go, it's supposed to have a metal cover over it that bolts up along here. It wasn't done that way. So we're gonna fix that so it's safe. I'd hate to have him driving around in the mountains or something and have it drop off or drop out, because the tank actually moves. It isn't in there secure. This side actually has a hinge holding it in place, and we're gonna pull that out and put in the right thing there so that it's safe and secure, so that he can take it out on the road and in the mountains and on the trails and enjoy his CJ. So I got a little bit of work to do on this for this guy. Also working on a YJ over there for a friend of mine. Power steering box is broken, so we're replacing that, and the clutch plates have all delaminated, so we're gonna put a new clutch in there. I know it's a YJ. It's very similar, but not the same. Square headlights and all. But yeah, this is a friend of mine, and so I'm gonna help him out anyway. So that's what we're gonna work on today. You can see, nice little CJ5. Got a few little issues here and there, but for a 1980, not too bad. Yeah, oh, I did discover too, the shocks were way too short. They were about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches too short for the rear axle. And so I'm gonna see if I can have some that'll fit in there that are the right length, and so that he can get full travel. Yeah, well, that's what we're gonna be doing today. Okay, I'm gonna get started on this. I'm gonna set the camera up and for time lapse and take this apart, and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, so I got the U-bolts off. I got these plates out. These are just flats. They're really not made for, they're not a wedge. I'm not really sure what they're made for. They've got it misaligned at least. So I pulled those off. It looks like I'm gonna have to pull these center bolts out of the springs here and see. So I put some clamps on there to keep them together. I think the center bolt goes all the way down through the wedge. Yep, it does. And so that's why the wedge won't come off. But this is too much wedge. It's got to be, usually they have a measurement on them. But I would imagine that's probably 4 or 5 degrees, which is way, way too much to get our recommended 3 degree here. I think I have another set of 3 degree ones. So yeah, I think I have another set loosened up. Oop, let's see if we can't get another set of wedges on here. That's pretty minimal. These are just a little too big, a little bit too much angle. Puts that drive line in a bind. Let's put this back on here and just see what this does. See what this looks like without the wedge. We'll make a measurement on it. We'll make a measurement on it with it flat, and that'll determine whether or not we need to go up or down. Just so it'll stay in place. We'll move that axle back where it goes. There we go. Get this one, there we go. Okay, now trust the little angle gauge on there. Okay, we're at about 19. It still seems like a lot. Oh, yep. Someone has changed the mounts on here where they are welded on. So that's going to create a problem. So these welds along here, this has been re-welded. Somebody cut these off and repositioned them to give the rear that kind of an angle, which is not quite right. It creates some issue. I think I can probably wedge it backwards so that it's a little flatter. I may not get my 3 degrees, but I can at least get it a little bit flatter. The other problem I'm going to be dealing with is whether or not the drive line is, it's not going to be short enough. It's too long. Oh, heavens. Somebody made a real mess here. So I may be able to get a regular drive line in there. I don't know for sure. What I'm going to do is make a measurement on this drive line. I'll get a measurement of its length, figure out what it needs to be. I'll go check in the other shop and see if I've got some wedges. Some 2 degrees I think I can put in the back and tilt it forward a tiny bit. But yeah, somebody's really changed this a lot. We'll get it fixed. Okay, I got this wedge back in. I didn't have a 2 degree wedge. But this 4 degree wedge will work. This gets my pinion angle at about 12. I know it needs to be a little bit lower, but with the lift on this, the way it just looks, it looks just much better now. So I think I'm gonna go with it this way. So I've actually got, you can see the wedge in here like this, facing that way, which tilts the nose down a little bit, gets it into a more neutral, not quite so far up. But yeah, cutting these off and repositioning them just leads to lots of problems. Most of the time doing that will change a lot more than just the angle. Can make for all kinds of interesting problems. So now we'll get these put back on and fastened down, and then I'll go to moving or switching these shackle hangers around. Okay, so I got these back on, tighten back up. This is set. Looks like it's reading 12.2. So these pieces, they're a little worn, and the threads are no good on these ends. I'm afraid that the shocks are not going to stay in place with these. So I just replaced them with some stock ones that I had that are just as good. They'll be just fine for this application. It's not like we're looking at a rock crawler or anything. This is just more of a pavement princess, a backroads Jeep. So anyway, next thing I need to do is I'll go look for some shocks in my stash and see what I can find that way. Like I said before, the shocks are too short for this application. You shouldn't have to jack the axle up in order to put shocks on, so they don't have complete travel, which is too bad because I can tell they're newer ones. But anyway, I'll go look and be right back. I looked for some shocks. Doesn't look like I have any that are a hair longer. Those ones are just ever so slightly too short. But I got this set down, so now I'm gonna take this loose, flip it around, and see what that changes in this. So we'll put this back on time lapse. Okay, got these in place, got them flipped around, added some washers and stuff to it so that it's a little more secure. Put another bolt here in the center to help hold that together, and yeah, looks pretty good now. So next thing we're gonna try and tackle is the fuel tank. See if I can't get a shell under here, or a guard under here, so that it doesn't fall out of there. So I'm gonna go see if I can dig one of those up. I'm pretty certain I have a good one here, and then we'll get back to removing the tank, or not removing the tank, but we'll add the shield to it so that it's on there properly. Okay, I got this carrier in place on the tank, which was a mess. Spilled fuel all over everywhere. Now I've just got to get the fill lines hooked back up and it cranked up a little bit higher back into place. Then I can bolt it in there so that it's straight and safe and it's not going to fall out the way it's supposed to be. It's got the plastic liner in it to keep it from rubbing. I think the owner will be much happier with this setup than what was in there before, because what was in there before was nothing. That tank was kind of exposed. So I'm going to go ahead and check the fuel lines, make sure they didn't pull off, check the wiring, make sure it didn't pull off. The only thing I don't have is a strap to go over it. The one that they had, they cut the end piece off, which, yeah, unfortunately they rust out, but it's not going anywhere like that. It'll stay put. Finish getting it put up in there. Okay, got the tank in here, got the shield on it, got it fastened up in there. It's going to be a whole lot safer. It's not going to have to worry about it falling out or getting hit by a rock and punctured. Much, much better. So we'll go ahead and let it down, put the tires back on it, and then see what I can come up with for shocks. Okay, I'm finally getting back on this. I think the last time I got this little CJ5 we were working on with the goofy axle and tank. I did get it put back on. Got some new wheels on the tires. Got it in there, it's spaced correctly. One thing I did find is that this bar, Nerf bar on the side, whoever put it on, they cut about 3 inches out right here and re-welded it. Well, on the other side, dun, 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 they didn't cut 3 inches out. So this has got about 3/4 of an inch gap is all on the tire. Come to find out, the owner was measuring the distance from the bar to the wheel, and that was part of his problem. Told me initially that one side was 4.5 inches back and one side was 3.5 inches back. The whole thing was messed up. It was way crooked. On there straight now, this bar, he's gonna deal with that. It doesn't hit the tire. It rolls fine. We should be okay. He's gonna take care of it. Okay, so the other thing that I described last time was the drive line. So I did find a drive line. It's not a CV axle drive line, but it will fit in there and it will spin just fine. So I'm gonna get over to the driveline shop, have them spin it, make sure it's balanced, put some new U-joints in it, and we'll put that on. And we should be done with the tank and the rear. Now, what I've done next is I've pulled the dash panel out because I'm going to work on the wiring harness, and it was kind of a mess. So it's over here. The old one's on the floor down there. This is the new harness that I took out of another CJ7 that I had. I'm just hooking it up to the different pieces. I've got some new lights coming for it. Another dash that I'm going to take the instrument cluster out of and replace it. And then we'll put this back in and then get the wiring harness put together for the Jeep. I'm not going to show you that on this one. I'll film another one that's got all the parts on that. But for right now, got the axle finished up, got the tank finished up. Hope you liked that one. That was kind of interesting and kind of fun to see what other people do and try to fix it. So if you like what you see, you enjoy our channel, please like, subscribe, and remember, let's keep those CJs rolling.